to make breakfast before we go to church. One of the instructions my mother always leaves before she travels is that I should make sure her children feed well. I had to abandon the sweeping after sweeping the part where I'll be cooking. We'll be going to church in a few hours and I want to maximize the time so that we would not be late. It is Sunday and the normal food to cook on Sundays is rice and stew. And I'll be cooking this rice the traditional way, which is to parboil it first before cooking it the second time. After putting the rice to parboil, I returned to my sweeping. We have barely 3 hours before it is church time and the only way we can meet up is if I multitask. I was done sweeping at this point and I took the waste bin to my brother so he can throw all of them away. I deliberately decided to show you where I'm washing my hands before washing the rice because of the assumptions some people make in the comment section, forgetting that these are edited videos and sometimes you are not shown everything. Making this particular video took over 3 hours, but here it is compressed in a few minutes. So there's no how you can see everything. I had to cut the meat into smaller sizes so it would be enough for everybody while washing it. I then added the seasoning, salt and onions. I was doing this while waiting for the water to cook my rice for the second time to boil. I made sure to put every waiting time into good use. After washing the rice into the pot, I had to look for another means to start making my stew because waiting for the rice to cook and the water to properly dry up would take a lot of time. I first parboiled the meat. This is my onions and some scotch bonnet pepper that I'll be using to make this stew. We also have some ripe plantain, so why not? I'll be frying some plantain to go along with this Sunday rice and stew. I talked about frying plantain without salt because of the suggestion of someone in the comment section. I tried it and it was not bad at all, but today I'm going to be doing what everybody knows, which is to add salt to the plantain. Someone said the salt balances out the sugar in the plantain. At this point I made a rabbit hole inside my rice. The water in it has dried up and it is properly cooked. It is now time to make my stew. First of all, I will start with frying the plantain because I want to use the same oil to also fry my stew. This makes my cooking faster and reduces the quantity of oil I have to use if I were to fry the plantain in a separate oil. This is what we have. I added my onions into the hot oil. We already blended our fresh tomatoes and cooked them to dry the night before. I knew it would be very time consuming to cook the fresh tomato with all of that water in the morning, considering I would not have a lot of time. I am using only fresh tomatoes for this stew, no tin tomatoes at all, and this is the point I added the pepper mix that I earlier pounded. This was a lot of fresh tomatoes, but after cooking it dry, the quantity reduced drastically. I added my spices and the stew no longer slaps at this point. It is 80% ready. At this point, the aroma has covered the entire room. I poured in the cooked meat and the meat stock. I also rinsed the pot of meat and poured in the water so that nothing is left there. I also added some seasoning and water, and finally some salt to taste before covering it to boil. The stew is well boiled at this point, and I dished food for my sister who has finished preparing for church. I dished food for my brothers as well. I would not be eating now because I am already running late for church. I have to quickly go and